Hi, Warriors. Looks like make or break day in several markets on this NFP number. How's everyone? Hello, AJ, Mike, Sinatra. How are you? AJ, Bran. Hi, Bran. James, Glenn. Oh, yeah, that bridge. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I came in. George, Marcus. Hi, Ryan. Okay, everyone. So here we go. This looks make or break here. Blake's been talking 105 being a key area. Hello, Blake. Here we are, right? And also the 4 hour right here. And, we have Euro make or break as well. I was looking, we're approaching this moving average. I was looking, what was I looking at? Daily. Yeah, look at that confluence of 108. So over 108, you can't be bearish Euro anymore. Okay, so that's not that far away. Cable, a little bit weaker. Aussie's been the standout. It ended up testing this high again. And then I put out a tweet about 152. We were all watching 152. Then once it broke out, it just, skyrocketed. And I just have this little speed line here. I had it drawn before off these two lows, and that's coming in at 52 along with 50-day moving average. So if it was important on the way up, it's going to be important on the way down. And even though the dollar's weaker, you have gold lower, but platinum higher. There's another 16 bucks on the long platinum short gold spread. It's had a tremendous week. And then Apple, I worked with a guy who said they were buying calls a week or two ago. That's the S&P. But Apple's at 183.
I
Yeah,
mean, that was a huge rally off of support. I mean,
this was a false breakdown. And so,
yeah.
I got out here. And then when it broke down here, I thought, oh, it's finally going to go to 145, 150. But there was, you have to pay attention to option sweeps if you trade stocks, because sometimes they're very good market tells. The sweeps were a little early, started here and there was one more jiggle to the downside, but boy, those calls are going to pay off now. So S&Ps, so if the S&Ps, what are we on the week?
Dale, on
Unchanged.
the S&P here, it's like just give us. I really hope we have just a slightly weaker than expected number. So, like, let's say, we create 150,000 jobs versus 250,000 jobs. It's weak, but not
We going
super
to
weak, but weak enough. And and
go
and stocks try to
rally?
rally on that data. We try to get everybody will go, oh, the data is weakening. The Fed's going to have to cut early. They're gonna try to juice up the stock market, and then you hit the market on a rally like that
Where?
because I think if we start showing some signs of weakness here, this is probably going to be starting more of a trend of labor weakness, and this is based on just reading a lot of different economists and analysts analysis as of late. That's what I'm hoping for. What we hope for to happen, as Dale, and what does happen is two totally different things a lot of the time. So I'm just got my fingers crossed, ready for that.
Well, I was looking for 51.50 and it fell short at 1.25, but it could still
Yeah.
do that if it likes the number. and the
And
dollar weakens.
what else is up at 51? Well, it's actually at 51.20 now, Dale. Just go to the daily chart of the S&P and it's the 50 DMA. It's really 50 DMA has just been capping everything. The 618's at the 5150 level. So I think this whole area, should we
Yeah,
get up there, is going to offer resistance, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So and and bonds too, they're back inside the wedge, and it's make or break for them here too. They're up about 20. See, they're back above the edge, the wedge here. They've done it a few times, so could see it better here. So, the dollar yields also, 10-year came off pretty good from almost 78.6 back. So,
And
um,
Dale, I think you said it perfectly. I think when you first came on and you started the show, we're at an inflection point on most markets right now. So
yeah,
this data could probably really matter today. It could really, because it could end up pushing the market in one direction or another pretty aggressively. I think we're teeter-tottering, if you will,
yeah. So, today's a big day. Let me go to the crew. Ryan, how are you? Came in, how are you?
Morning, mate. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Should we be short the dollar by now? Or would you sell any kind of dollar strength now, Ryan?
I'm potentially looking to sell some dollar strength. Maybe if it's a good number, something like euro dollar. I think that might just be a bit of a dip buy in the current environment. I'm not looking to do anything more than just job it. I'm not going to get in a position, one of my lifestyle positions. I'm just going to
Yeah.
have a crack.
Okay. Uh, any preferred long? Euro look better to you than cable or Aussie? Any preferred longs here on dips? You prefer the euro to buy dip in euro?
Yeah, 106 would be absolutely juicy
Okay.
if we got down there in euro dollar.
Wow.
It's a big enough level, big enough stretch
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. 106. Wow. What a great short from here if it gets there. Anyway, well, what was interesting is while the Dixie was double topping up here, Canada had a failing rally. So we'll see. Look, Canada looks like a lot of the other ones. Pretty important inflection point. I know, Kay, you were talking about you'd like it down here, about 136.
Yeah, it all depends on and good morning, by the way, Dale. Good
Good
morning,
morning. Yeah,
everybody. Yeah, it all depends on what kind of numbers we are going to get. But yeah, Canada is one that is still a bit on the defensive. The Canadian dollar, I mean, not the dollar Canada, but the on the Canadian dollar is on the defensive versus a couple of other currencies. So maybe one where a bit of not too much. It can't be a really bad number, okay, to play that one. But yeah, just the 136 maybe worth a try. I think 135.5 would be enough for a pain level. If it goes below there, it could be useless to keep it. But I'll first get the numbers and then we'll decide
yeah.
on it. But that's a candidate to me for a pickup if the numbers hold up or just slightly weaker, a bit of a dollar sell on positiveness, but then it may be this one maybe one to give a go.
Okay.
But I've got
So,
other currencies where I'm looking at the other side.
how about any comment on Norges Bank?
Um, they have pushed back against their own prior statement, saying that due to the currency, they may need to stick with the higher rates for longer. And the market is liquidating a few positions, I guess. The dollar a bit
Yeah,
weaker. We know that Scandinavian currencies are usually, especially the Swedish krona, but also the Norwegian kroner, a bit of an accelerated euro. So if the euro dollar rises, usually the Scandies move a little faster. And the market likely liquidating a bit of position short in Norwegian kroner, and that's where we are right now. Good resistance is just above 11 right now on the dollar Norway, and if we could get through the 1080 this afternoon on the dollar Norway, it would look pretty cool for an extra move lower.
Okay. And the won really, it's kind of shadowed the end both ways,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Morning.
There's been some strange stuff coming out as well. Well, first of all, it's a dollar thing, but then on the other hand, we had a bit of a statement out earlier today, which was coming as a bit of a surprise. Not for the statement from Japan and South Korea saying that they were worried about their currencies and stuff, but since they are at this Asian conference, China underwrote this statement as well. And as a matter of fact, the dollar China is trading a bit lower. It seems that for the time being, they won half, at least, the battle against the speculators.
Yeah. And China's probably happy about this. They don't have to manage it, spend more money. Anyway, so, I remember a statement from you that if we ever took out 152 without intervention, that would be a six. So now that we've had intervention, is 52 is valid as it was, even though we had intervention?
I think so, because if we take it out this afternoon, it will be because of the dollar and not due to intervention. So I would think so. It could be a battle down there, and I expect it to be a battle down there, seeing how long it took to get through. And so there's a lot of people eyeing that level right now as well. So I expect a battle there. But if you close below, and I've got a bit of a line coming in around 150, 130, 40 as well. If we confirm it below there, then we may be in for a deeper correction, especially after that very bizarre intervention that we had after the FOMC, right? That makes me think that get a bit of a weaker number, the market may start to push it a weak number. I'm not saying 150 instead of 250. I mean a weak number, and unemployment rate hitting 4% or so, which is still not massive, but it would. Yen is looking like an accident could happen, just could happen.
Okay. Since that big spike, USD MEX has held up pretty well. I mean, people waiting to buy a break, they haven't given them much of a break. Could look pretty good at 1680 or something. Maybe it's not even going to get there, but you would think a weaker dollar would have pushed USD MEX a lot lower. It's looks resilient to me. How about you, Blake? You trade this.
Yeah, I'm here. Well, what I'll do is I'll show it. I think it's easier to show you what I'm doing.
Sure.
With the dollar MEX. I played it and got out of it just following the
spike
charts here. Yeah, following that Israeli launch of missiles, when it spiked up here, I happen to be long, and so I played it long. But I'm really looking at it at the 50 DMA being support. So 1681. If you listen to the Morning Edge every day, we've been talking about the 1680 levels being really critical support. So I'm a buyer on dips, and I agree with you. I think it's held up very, very well. It's a 618 retracement right here at 1687. 1680 is the 50 DMA. You got previous channel support right here at 1675. So I think this whole area is holding up very, very well. The driver of us moving down there would be stocks being very supported. So this could be a really one that plays well into what I was mapping out for you guys a little bit earlier when we were talking when we first started this, Dale, is if the data, like let's say the headline number is poor. It is 150,000 jobs, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but it's kind of kickstarting a trend of lower data. And if you've seen the last year and a half, I mean this is This is
Or
how
do.
foolish it is to bet against the jobs data, or it has been. Because if you look at let me make sure I find it. Here we go. So if you look at the market and what we've done and expectations for the last year and a half or whatever, you can see it's been a fool's errand to bet against the labor market, right? It's been substantially stronger. But let's say we get a miss today, and you're going to see probably some dollar weakness, but you're probably going to get the market rallying because they might say, oh, it's stagflationary because maybe the wages data is a little, it's sticky. You'll see stocks
yields will drop. Yields will drop. That's going to be the fuse.
Yeah, yields could drop, perhaps, but then I don't think that the market, if stocks rally on that, I don't think they're going to sustain any type of rally on a weaker headline number. I think people will look around and go, oh, maybe if it's weak, it's weak. Maybe this is not good, and I think people sell into that. Well, if that happens, you might see the dollar sell off initially. And remember, we're not far from completing a double top. I mean, if you didn't know there was a double top in play, from yesterday, then you're not you're not paying attention to what the charts are showing you, because you can see the double top here will put the dollar index down towards 104.50, 104 and a quarter. So we could theoretically spike like that, and if that happens, the dollar could get walloped today, and then you'd see maybe the dollar mex trade down towards 1680. It probably would go even further than that, maybe 1675. But I look at these areas down here as being opportunities to be on the long side of the dollar mex, Dale. I do agree with you. I think it's holding up relatively well. So I'd be a buyer down here personally.
Yeah.
So
okay, all right.
But hey, I want to say,
I think on the mix, Blake, you can, if you want to, you can trade the dollar on the one side, but you can also, and I've updated the EURUMIX in the room. You can also trade risk and EURUMIX, because you can have one kind of canceling out the other, because you can have like an impact of a lower dollar. But if it comes paired with risk taking a dive, your EURUMIX is actually going to go higher, right? And yeah. So, and that can actually counterbalance some of the dollar mix initial move.
Yeah, that's a great point. I wish like I have a few different brokerage platforms that I trade from. Like for example, I use Oanda. As being a US trader, our options are kind of limited. Like Oanda, I can't trade this pair, but if I'm trading on StoneX, I can. It's like, it's so weird. But I think most traders have the ability to trade EURUMIX. Some of us Americans get shortchanged a little bit when it comes to FX pairs, what we can trade. But yeah, I think the EURUMIX could be really beneficial here. I agree with you. Hey, we have Nick Groves, who's from Trading Analytics. He'll be here in just a few minutes, but I wanted to cover one last thing. You asked about the US dollar Norwegian krona. I think this one's set up really good, as K-Man was mentioning earlier, for any dollar weakness now, because you guys might have not seen it, but I'm going to just make sure I clearly point it out. This is the COVID lockdown highs, and you can see we really this week rejected it at 11.14, and so now if the dollar does start on a lower path from here, there's a good shot that the US dollar Norwegian krona could trade back down towards 10.50 in the days or weeks ahead. So I back to even mid-range of this long-term triangle. And and the Norges Central Bank just met, and as K-Man pointed out, everybody was going into this Norges Central Bank meeting thinking they're going to be extremely dovish, and as K-Man pointed out, they kind of backtracked a little bit on their last statement. So that puts Norway squarely in a position of firming here against the dollar, especially if we see some dollar weakness following the jobs report today. So, Nick, good morning. Happy Friday. By the way, you've been posting some great short 5-minute videos, and sometimes less than that on Twitter. And how are you seeing the markets right now?
Morning, guys. Well, waking up this morning and seeing the S&P, near its highs of the session, I'm just kind of thinking that we're gonna rip higher on this data. Um, that's just my gut feeling. I know that the forecast as well is pretty high relative to the other forecasts that we've seen. It certainly fits the narrative of how strong the jobs have actually been. But it just looks poised for a break. I know Apple's likely helping that. So yeah, I'm in sell the rally mode. But that being said, on a firm hot number, I think that it could flip pretty quick. So I'm
Nick,
just on my toes.
I was
Sorry.
going to say, can you show your charts? You got 3 minutes to show your charts. Can you do that?
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
If you,
let's Forex Gal is asking. So let's
if I
bring
can
you
just
on.
grab
Show us
the,
some charts. What are you looking at?
all
And did we
right.
lose Ryan?
Okay, so
Yeah.
really
Yeah, we did.
quickly, so taking a look at the S&P, I'm looking if we can squeeze up towards 51.25 or so. That's where I'd like to get short. I was short earlier in the week. We saw a little bit of shenanigans. The market likes to rally on anything it can, I guess. That was kind of from people seeing that the Fed were unlikely to hike again. I think the next headline will be Alien Life showing good signs for growth, but yeah, if we can get a pop up here, I'm likely going to be a seller. I got flat going into I got flat this morning, pretty much from right here. But that's my plan. And taking a look around, yields look like they could come down. I'm looking at this channel. It did tag the 786. That's another driver for why I think we could see a pop. But that being said, things like the Russell 2000 are showing a bear flag. So yeah, I'm kind of
Still
neutral at the
really
moment.
underperforming.
Yeah, but I am just I'm neutral, but I'd rather sell rallies than buy dips right now. I feel like there could be one more leg lower that I'd like to get long into, somewhere around 4,800. But just to show, Amazon, or I'm sorry, Apple was the big talk of the town yesterday, leading into this falling wedge. It really reminded me of Tesla going into earnings. And I said you can take a look at us on Twitter, Trading Analytics. I was talking about Apple. I felt like we could squeeze the 180, 184, and we're right at that 618 at 184 right now ahead of the open. So in that being said, I felt as if the earnings were kind of they weren't that great in my opinion. I think I have it up right here. iPhone revenue down 10%, revenue down 4% year over year. I think the buybacks is what has people excited, but we also saw
No.
buybacks.
I really disagree. Did you see the last statement there? It's all about AI.
But
That's the only thing that's
yeah,
propped up this stock. I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm being
I was
facetious, but not really. But go ahead.
Yeah, he says we feel good about our opportunity and we're going to share things soon. Well, Tim Cook, show me the money first before I buy it. But we saw some nice buybacks in Google and it paired back. So and Tesla's, if it's going to act similarly, it's also paired back after that pop. So outside of that, and this will be kind of the last thing I'll show, XLE. It's performed quite well relative to the rest of the market from the lows of January to the highs. We only pulled back to 38.2. And that got me thinking, well, what about solar? And solar looks, I would buy a break of 43.30 in the tan because if energy is going to pick up, this kind of looks intriguing to me. So that's one thing that I'm looking at. I think risk is well defined. And yeah, it also quickly, semiconductors. I know SMCI fell pretty aggressively, but guys were still up 140% or so on the year. And I'm AMD came down to the 618. So I think semiconductors have been a great leader, and I'm looking for opportunities in the event we pull back just a bit further. But that being said, looking at NVIDIA in this kind of a triangle pattern, I'm watching this really closely for a breakdown of 830 or a breakout of 875. And with that, I'll pass it off because I know you guys got to run through
Thank you, Nick. And if you guys don't follow Nick on Twitter, he's just Trading Analytics with an X. There you go. Make sure you follow him. He posts some great charts throughout the day. Even your videos are just coming like wildfire. So keep it up, Nick. Thanks for joining us today. I'll go ahead and take back over here, and let's get some final thoughts from the crew. Ryan, you left, but you came back. What are you thinking? Give us like your best opportunity today, based on what you're seeing, or don't. Brian?
Why does he hate us?
I don't know. Oh, there he
Hello,
is.
hello. No, I'm
John,
sorry.
hey,
I've
Brian.
got
I'm
problems
feeling a
with-
little
I've got
slighted
problems with
right
the
now,
audio.
buddy. I'm not
I've
gonna
got
lie.
problems with my audio at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, no different to what I said with today. The one thing I'm looking at is to sell a dollar rally, buy a dollar dip. Looking at euro dollar seems to be the most solid one. I'm not going to get too excited today because we run straight from NFP into ISM, and we get a good number here in a stinky ISM, and it all flips on its head. So yeah, just got the sniper rifle out. That's it.
All right. Well, we could get a double banger, you might say. K-Man, what are you thinking? What's your best idea right now?
Okay, a very bad number. I think dollar yen potentially, well, all dollars lower, but then I've got two in mind, is dollar yen and dollar Swiss, and likely euro dollar shooting through 108. A very good number, I think we may, and then it depends on the ISM, as Ryan says, but assuming that both are really good, then I think we may be running into a bit of forced dollar buying because the market may not be ready for it right now. And that could hurt equally. And then I think we are going to get the test of 106 next week, or even at the end of the day in the euro dollar, and cable back down to 124 or so.
So would you play precious metals? Because I must say, silver held $26 like it was nobody's business. I mean, it was really expected, obviously, to get a reaction from there, but I mean, we really got a good reaction.
I mean, if in between gold and silver, if it's a real crap number, I think gold is going to outperform silver. Silver doesn't usually, since it's an industrial metal, doesn't like when an economy is doing bad, and so gold should outperform silver. But if it's like a mild miss, for instance, yeah, then both could actually start to rally again. But there too, is it what happens if all those data come out defying the laws of gravity again and be much stronger? You could see some forced dollar buying. So I'm keeping my options open. I am leaning towards a bit of a lower dollar right now, biased, but my main thing is my option in dollar yen. I'm very small long euro dollar, but very, very small. And that's about it that I have in dollars, really.
All right. Thank you very much. You can see that the jobs data, we're expecting 243,000. Unemployment rate still to be well below 4%. Average hourly earnings, everybody's going to be focused on laser focused on the earnings front because of we saw the ECI earlier this week that looked extremely crazy, from an inflation point of view. So we're going to keep an eye on all this data. Dale, as I get set up here, what are your last minute thoughts?
The close is important to me. What happens after the release and for the hours following aren't as important as where we finish. Finish under 105 in the Dixie, that seals the top for me.
Sounds good. And guys, just I'll tell you, for me, weak data, I think the euro trades north of 108 today, and I'm going to be trading that to the long side. Bad data, I agree with K-Man. You kind of got to focus on the dollar yen. Ministry of Finance, BOJ is focused on the dollar yen. We should probably be focused on the dollar yen to the downside too, if the data is really weak. But if it's good data, I still think the dollar Canadian, even though it's been down a little bit this week, it's still above 136. So can't complain about that. And maybe the dollar Mexican peso will play on the long side too. So we got a lot of opportunities. I pulled up data flash off of ForexAnalytix, pulled that over to the side. You can see I got the dollar indexes to the left. You can see yields are getting pounded, going into the data as the dollar is too. And then we got the S&P just kind of, holding steady. So that data is coming out in literally 40 seconds. So guys, I want to say thank you all for being here. We're going to cover this. Dale, do you have an interview after this?
No.
Okay, good. So we'll sit with you guys a few minutes, give you some live update. Remember, one of the best places to be watching the data and it is inside the ForexAnalytix community. It's only $1 for 10 days. Download the mobile app, get logged in, get into our chat rooms. We have the most busiest trading community of retail traders in there. Just here we go. Heads up.
A little lower, a
175.
little lower.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'll take it. Yep.
Unemployment rate up with the participation rate staying unchanged, so that's a negative. Wages, where the wages down 3.9%, so a soft one there. So three softish numbers. The headline isn't too bad, but unemployment and wages are a little bit softer.
You know, here goes the euro above 108, and I'm buying the hell out of it over here. So just letting you guys know, I think it trades to 108.30 this morning. And I sold a bunch in US dollar Norwegian krona just a minute
Dollar yen
ago.
approaching.
Go ahead.
5,000.
Dollar yen approaching 152 there.
Oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. And watch stocks because they are rallying. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if the market's going to hold these gains. I just don't. I don't think they will. So let's go over and take a look at what's happening in the euro. The euro has so if you guys haven't seen it, we have a Gartley pattern that points us to 108.30. That's been our analysis on the euro. So if you didn't know it was going up there, well, you got the analysis since last night and this morning that we are going up towards those levels. So the euro's on a breakout. The double top is in play. Dollar yen's getting absolutely smashed right now. K-Man, what's going to happen with this dollar yen if we get below 152?
Well, I think it's 150, 190 figure. It goes below there. It's but I find it a quite a big reaction for a mild miss. To be honest, markets really wanting to slap the dollar. I'm going to wait for real confirmation here because I find it really a big move for a small. Yeah, but yeah, everything is going the same way. Okay. Yeah, just respect the level that 152. I respect it.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan, what are your initial gut thoughts here?
Yeah, overreaction. Looks like an overreaction, but I'm not going to stand in its way. You know what the market's like. If he wants to do something, it's going to do something. We're down a pip on. We're up a pip on unemployment. We're down a pip or 2 pips on wages. 175 still a positive number. Nothing in it. Nothing in that report is bad. Yeah, it's a bit of a miss of expectations and a tiny bit softer. We're not falling off a cliff. And what did Powell say on Wednesday? They'll only look to cut if there's a meaningful trend lower in the jobs market. This ain't it.
Yeah. Okay. So I hear what you're saying. And you need to see more than just one piece of data. And that's what the Fed chairman thinks. But we have ISM coming up in just a few minutes. We do. So or not just a few minutes, in an hour and a half. But as you pointed out before, it's going to be hard to stand in the way of this, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to. The market's queuing up to smack a bad number, and it's doing just that. But we'll see how far. If it gets to extremes, then I'll start to think about countering. Like if we see euro dollar up at mid to high 108s, 109s, then I'll be thinking about fading it.
And look at the Aussie dollar. I mean, we are just screaming past resistance. We broke that, and I mean this is a big deal now. So do you just play lean into the dollar? I mean, personally, I think that's the trade, but what do you know? I mean, it's hard to stand in front of the dollar, but at the same time, you look at the setup. We had the setup coming in yesterday, not today. It was coming in yesterday. The market's been leaning. There's been something fishy with the dollar. I even talked about it during the week ahead video. I'm like, the dollar should be a lot higher than it is, and it wasn't. And now we're actually breaking. I mean, we're going to complete this head and shoulder pattern and get to the 200 DMA. Might be as early as today, especially if the ISM comes in worse than expected. So, I mean, it looks vulnerable. I still think so. Anyway, I don't know. I'm thinking the move could be that we still might have some juice in here, despite K-Man you saying, and I agree with you. it may be a bit of a overreaction. It wasn't like a hugely bad number, but anyway, hey, we got our first one in a while on a bit of a miss here. How do you read the well, we got unemployment rate ticked up a little bit. What did wages come out as? I didn't catch that part. Do you guys see that? I don't know. They're on mute. Anyway, hey, if Nick is still here, Nick, did you have any thoughts about equities as they're ripping right here? What are you going to do with them?
I just took a 1/4 short ES 5150, and I just took a small short euro dollar at 108. Yields are completely coming under, down 2.4, but the US 10-year is getting near a not too far from channel support at 4.4. So as long as that holds, I'm gonna buy dips in the dollar if this continues to fall a little bit. Granted, I'm 1/4 size, so I'm not trusting it a whole lot. I'm not a huge amount of conviction, but I think this is a bit of an overreaction. I think this is the slightly weaker number, while still positive, is kind of what I was looking for. So I'm trying to take advantage, but like Dale said, really depends on the close.
Yeah. All right. Well, one question that Shiva asked, if there's a head and shoulder pattern on the dollar index, I'll cover that really quick, and then I think we'll probably end up wrapping things up for the morning edge or we have the private ForexAnalytix show coming up in just a little bit. I don't see a head and shoulder pattern. I just see a double top. This is just we forged out the double top earlier this week, and we are almost at the 50 DMA. S&P is at resistance right now. We're at the 50 DMA and also trend line resistance right here. So it's going to be really critical. And look at the euro just flying higher. And I got a little bit of
the dollar at 104.45 is the 50% retracement from the March lows to highs, and we're getting pretty close to it. I'm wondering if that will offer some support, but yeah, this thing starts running, I'm going to get out the way.
Support and resistance levels on days like this could be speed bumps. And remember, there's not a lot of liquidity on Friday. So when you get these numbers, especially if the ISM data comes in, this is the services data we're going to be looking at. If it comes in a little weaker than expected, no one's going to want to get in the way on a Friday. If it's a slight miss, you're just going to see a trend day in the dollar, and be careful fading it, because that's where a lot of retail traders get trapped, because it's a Friday and they think, oh, look, we've moved so far. I don't want to, it can't go any further. Oh, it can. And just remember that. All right. Gold's coming off a little bit. Marty just pointed out gold's coming off, pretty good. I'm surprised gold has. Maybe that's one you pick up on dips. But yeah, dollar yen's at 152. And I'm just going to ask really quick before we go, Ryan, your mic might be live, but I want to ask you any final thoughts before we wrap it up.
Yeah, well, I said I'm going to might wait, but I'm already jumping in front of it. I'm picked up some loony 136.11, paying a big figure.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does. But it looks a big reaction.
This is a big support right here. Big.
Yeah. 136.50.30 was the support above that. But I'll throw a couple of beer pips at it. I'm not going to get out my pram, but it looks like a big overreaction. But we'll see. That's the way the market's leaning. So what we got? So the market's now jumped from the first cut coming in November to September. Swing that pendulum.
Yeah, it sounds good. K-Man, last minute thoughts.
I was long euro dollar, taking the profit on this jump for now and waiting for the ISM, but it really looks like the market wants to punish the dollar here, whatever happens. So as you were saying, Aussie is one of those really benefiting. I mean, if ISM confirms a weak one, then it's going to be a tough Friday for the dollar.
Yeah, it really would be.
Yeah, I'm looking to, I've got this 152 put running dollar yen. I may just take a partial profit on the option itself and see what happens then.
Wow, we are at the 50 DMA. We are below 152. This is just so everybody can see it. It's a big breakout point, but more importantly, I'm just going to point this out because this is the one thing that, you know, on the week ahead video, this is my chart, right? This is the chart that I posted for the week ahead video. Can it be saved? And I was just like, they want to get it, the 6J or the, you know, back above this resistance. If they do, they've created a false breakdown. And so we could, you know, could we? Well, let me ask you, Kay. Do you think we could see a real broad-based yen rally? It's been a lot of effort this week.
I don't. Based on harvest traits, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, it's how the MOF did their intervention after the MOF really after the FOMC really made me thinking and a little confused, to be honest. So there could be the liquidation coming, but I don't think that this jobs report is big enough to push into liquidation of yen of yen positions. That is my idea. That's why I'm going to sell at least part of my option.
Got it. Okay. Well, just for those of you that are all trading the US dollar, Norwegian krona, I shorted it this week up at above 11.05 or 4. I added aggressively this morning. My stop's already a break even, and I'm looking for a move back down towards 1050, 1060. So I laid into this one today. You got a couple things going for it. You got the Norges Central Bank that reversed course. You have weaker jobs data. You got the dollar that's under pressure. This one I think plays at least to mid range, if not lower. So I'm already riding off into the sunset, break even or bust. So you know, or break even, no, a bust, break even, or I don't know, however you want to say it. It's Friday. I want to say thanks everybody for being with us. If you guys want to be, again, in the most active trading community, this is what ForexAnalytix looks like, you know, ahead of jobs reports and what everybody's talking about in here. Not only what you see here, but it's also all the side conversations in the threads that are conversations on top of conversations. So make sure you're jumping in the ForexAnalytix community. Download the mobile app. It's $1 for 10 days. The chat room's right here at the upper corner. And plus, you got all these great tools and analysis, you know, at your fingertips all the time. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank you all for being here today and with us every day. Thanks for the coverage. Nick, you're doing a great job with trading analytics. And I hope for you that we fade a little bit from these highs once the stock market opens. So
yeah, we're gonna find out, won't we?
Yeah, we will. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Friday and have a great weekend. I'll see you on the week ahead video. I'll be filming it bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks, K-Man. Thanks, Ryan and Dale. Specifically, thank you for guiding us every week and every day throughout the week.
Oh,
thanks, everybody.
My pleasure.
Cheers, all.
See you, Dream Team.
Hey, guys.
And see everyone. We laid it on the court. Hope you guys had a good week. Closes are very important. If this is a dollar top, doesn't mean that you won't have a rally to sell back at 105, 105.50 in the coming days. So relax and don't just count your pips, count your blessings, enjoy your weekend. See everyone Monday to do it all over again. Pretty weak response in silver. Be patient. I think you're going to get a nice buying opportunity in the miners coming up. And we'll see everyone next week. Right, guys?
That's right, Coach.
Yep,
Thanks
set for Monday.
All right. Okay. See you guys.